This is the Post Shift Podcast, your raw look at the hospitality industry. What has happened, Post Shifters, and welcome to another episode of the Post Shift Podcast. So this is another of my Fever Tree sessions. I've been working with Fever Tree Canada on doing a seminar series with various speakers about things that can help you now, in the future, really helps you out with everything in the industry. So this one is all about turning your side hustle into reality. And I really go deep into how to turn everything that you do into a side hustle, especially now when you have time. So I hope you enjoy this episode. I really love this seminar. This seminar really resonated with me. I hope it resonates with you. And I'm hoping that you're enjoying all the information that I'm throwing out there right now. Hope you have a good week, and I'll see you soon. Bye.
Let's get this started. So, hi, everyone, and welcome back. So sorry for the technical difficulties today, but glad to see that you were all able to join us. My name is Alexis Green, and I am the National Brand Engagement Manager for Fever Tree Canada. I wanted to thank you for taking the time to join us again at the Fever Tree Seminars. These are a series of weekly hospitality-facing seminars to assist those of you who are out of work within the food and beverage industry. This week, our seminar focuses on how to turn a hobby, interest, or talent into a side hustle. Here to speak with you today is Shawn Soole, owner of Soole Hospitality Management, partner at Human Construct Branding and Design, and the host of the popular podcast Post Shift and BC Spirits. A few things to keep in mind: please put your phones on silent and mute any pop-up windows. Because this is a webinar, you won't be able to talk the way you normally would during a virtual meeting, but you can use the raise hand function or send me a private message. You can send me a private message on Facebook if you're there as well. And I will get to those once we hit the question and answer portion at the end. Also, we will be recording this webinar and streaming it live. You can download it later. You'll be able to find the link in the Fever Tree Seminar group. Additionally, if you are uncomfortable with this recording, feel free to hop off and access the link later, though nobody can actually see you. So without further ado, I will hand things over to Shawn.
Thank you, Alexis, and a big thank you to Fever Tree Seminars for having me. I'd like to take this chance to mention that if you would like to ask a question, like Alexis said, during the session, just raise your hand and add a question in the Q&A feature. And if it's pertinent to right there and then Alexis can jump in and ask me the question before we go further. I love good questions at the right time. Otherwise, bank it for the end of the session. A little bit more about me. Some of you know me well enough and have got to know me over the years, but I've always been an entrepreneur. I've helped my family's landscaping business grow from a small outfit to a large company in a space of 5 years when I was 15 years old. Before getting into the hospitality industry, I owned my own landscaping company at 20. My entrepreneurial spirit is what took clients from a very average hotel lobby bar, making a few thousand in sales a week, to one of the world's best in the world, making over $1 million a year in revenue. I've been in the industry for over 20 years now, but regardless of what I'm doing now with projects and companies, I still class myself as a bartender first and foremost, and always revel in the nights I can get to work behind the bar. In the last 7 years, I've had the opportunity to open 12 venues across the world, here in Canada and in Singapore last year. I've also expanded my business into many facets of the hospitality industry and have become somewhat of a serial entrepreneur, focusing on deficiencies in the industry, trying to fill the gap. I'm active in about 6 companies, all catering to different elements of the hospitality industry. I never saw myself in this position in my career, but was brought up with an entrepreneurial spirit. So the following side hustles were inevitable, I suppose. Soole Hospitality Concepts is my main focus and covers that my consultancy business, including concept and design of bars and restaurants, spirit development, along with training and education. Human Construct Branding and Design is my partnership with good friend and talented graphic designer Colin Parks. Together we tackle hospitality-minded branding and creative. Canadian Bar Store is my online bar tool website that brings affordable bar tools to the Canadian market and is a big part of this seminar. Coalition Craft Co. is my partnership with fellow bartender and good friend Keegan Coates. We're a distribution agency representing craft distilleries on Vancouver Island, most notably Okanagan Spirits. Exemplar LM is a brand new partnership with Exemplar Marketing Group. We're focusing on specific marketing in the liquor industry through online targeting and social media marketing. BC Spirits is a distillery tourism website that is a huge passion project for me and showcases the province's amazing distilleries. I've been very fortunate enough to write 2 cocktail books, Cocktail Culture in 2013 and Great Northern Cocktails in 2019. And I'm working on my 3rd cocktail book called BC Spirits, which will be out this year and focuses on cocktails made from craft spirits from BC. As Alexa said, I also do a twice weekly podcast, but right now during the pandemic, it's Monday to Friday. It's called the Post Shift Podcast, which showcases the hospitality industry and its talents. As you can see, I'm constantly turning side hustles into reality. I love the thrill of creating something new and see it grow, gain traction and momentum into successes. Here's an overview of what we're going to be covering today, really broken down to the who, the why, the where, the how, and the when. The entrepreneurship triangle, 3 pillars of hustle, marketing, and patience. We won't even talk about success to the very end. The triangle of entrepreneurship. I love triangles. All 3 sides being the same length and weight, indicating that all elements must be equal and balanced. Passion for the chase, for the hustle, is probably the most important element of entrepreneurship because it ties directly in with happiness. Without either, the triangle falters. Empowerment is the next element of entrepreneurship. Everybody wants financial stability. Side hustles can give you that. Freedom is the final piece of the puzzle. Being self-employed and in control of your own direction in life is one of the most fulfilling elements to entrepreneurship. Entrepreneurship is a delicate balance between these 3 things. It must be kept level and aligned throughout this entire process that we're chatting about today. So this is the path to success that I can sort of see as an entrepreneur or your side hustle. And we've already talked about passion and love for the game. Hustle, by definition, is innovating, working harder than the next person in line. It's like a 4th grade foot race. Who pushes harder, who pushes forward. Now, this one I'm going to talk about a ton today. Patience. Patience is the real key to all of this. It will take time, and the old adage of every overnight success has taken 15 years to be that is completely true. As you can see, during this process, you'll always need to return to the same original steps to reinvigorate you and push you forward towards your goals. It won't always be a linear line, but one of constant reevaluation. But during this whole process, I can't stress this enough, and I'm going to stress it the whole way through this whole seminar. Happiness is the key to success. Theodore Roosevelt said, "Nothing in the world is worth having or worth doing unless it means effort, pain, and difficulty. If you love the game, then happiness follows, then success follows." Now, before we move on, I'm sure a lot of you who know me well enough have heard me say this quote before, but I believe that this is a quote that lives within entrepreneurship, side hustle, projects, life really, is this quote: "Anything is possible, impossible just takes a little longer." If you truly live by this, then you can really achieve anything. Constantly be asking the how and what if questions to any dilemma. But really, this should be a life mantra, not just a business one. So the 3 pillars or avenues of side hustle. I've created these to break down to the what, how, and where of each element because each pillar has its own direction to take in turning it to a side hustle. Artistic. I find this to be the easiest to turn into a side hustle, as many industry people are already immensely creative. So taking A and applying it to B to create C is relatively easy and one that can really direct anyone to try and take that next step, or someone who doesn't know how to take that next step. Hobbies is a fun one, which most people don't think about an application of a hustle as something they do to unwind or relax. The connection between doing something that you do to relax, are passionate about, or good at making is a side hustle is a simple step for especially for people like gamers or wood turners or literally anyone that does anything with their hands. Business is the last avenue, and one that is for some the easiest, like myself, and for some more difficult. The main thing with going into business for yourself is always go back to why. Really love what you do and lean into your happiness hard. Let's kick off the first avenue. Everyone in this day and age should have a few domains to their name, including your own name. I can't stress this enough. I own ShawnSoole.com. It sounds narcissistic, but it really isn't. Along with a myriad of other domains, even with multiple domains, you can target those onto one site and give your site a better chance of listing on Google. This is very important in this day and age to have a few domains and a website, even if it's parked. Your name, your social media handle, your brand are perfect starting points and should reflect your social media as much as possible. There are a number of online storefronts, but Shopify is one of the most popular, the one I use predominantly for my online stores, and is very intuitive and easy to use. Shopify allows you to list tangible items that you have in your possession or inventory, as well as piggybacking links and drop shipping and apps. Dropshipping has come in leaps and bounds in the last 2 to 5 years. I'm looking forward to talking about this one to you. Allowing you to pretty much ship anything from anywhere to anyone without ever buying a single piece of inventory. These are simple plugins that we're going to cover. Music distribution is an untapped resource for a lot of musicians. Everything from jam sessions to studio recordings can be uploaded to these platforms. Authenticity, especially during this time, is fun and somewhat expected. If you don't believe me, just check the huge influx of live performances on Facebook and YouTube of bands all over the world. Don't let perfection stunt your growth. Don't let it stunt your creativity. Anyone in the music business that's scouring the internet for the next big thing right now isn't looking for perfection. They're looking for raw talent to be able to mold it. So, these are the 3 main domain sellers and website builders that I see out on the market: Squarespace, WordPress, and Wix. They all have their own pros and cons to user interface, connectivity, and ease of use. Do your research, find one that you love. I love Squarespace, and so what I use for all my sites. For the costs involved, the templates that you can utilize and modify, plus the ease of building, it is the easiest one for someone who never did web design. Now, I know there's not going to be a lot of not-so-savvy tech people out there, but I think there are a few Google searches and asking for help on the website builder from developers. You can develop something that represents you and your brand simply and functionally. Your website should be your home base. We're going to talk about this further in marketing, but it should be where everything is posted and distributed from. Next up, your online store, your e-commerce store. You can make it as visually appealing and reflecting your brand as you want. There's another website that you need to become versed in, but you can take a little time walking around. But honestly, you can teach yourself this pretty quickly. There are literally hundreds of YouTube episodes about helping you set this up. Shopify can help you manage your tangible inventory, house printed t-shirts, artwork, hobby items, or piggyback drop shipping or print to order items. Other e-commerce platforms are similar to website builders. They all have their pros and cons, and you have to research them individually based on your style of goods that you want to sell. Etsy, big for creative homeware. WooCommerce works best with WordPress, and so on and so forth. So you have your Shopify store set up. You can sell the tangible wares that you can create personally, for example, paintings, woodwork, crocheted Tiger King figurines, really anything. This next step is really for the artists and the graphic designers. If you want to get your art out there or put a graphic design on the t-shirts, you can literally create your own street brand with drop shipping. Drop shipping opens you up to so much more items, broader selection of styles, and allows you to have zero inventory. It's all print to order or ship to order. It is quite liberating. Printify and Printful are some of the best online dropshippers for shirts, hats, sweaters with your design on it. If you've always wanted to create your own clothing label, you can with Printify and Printful. Art of Wear and Artsad are both amazing websites that lean into more artistic application to household wares, canvases, shoes. If I was an artist, I would list both my original painting and reproduction prints in different sizes on my Shopify store. And finally, my favorite platform, AliExpress and Dropified. I know most of you are going to be looking up on your phone right now, looking up AliExpress. Alibaba, years ago, after the last economic downturn, realized that doing smaller orders or no minimum order quantities or MOQs was a smarter play than the traditional model of huge orders of thousands of items. If you want to start a figurine website, designer shoes, watches, Alibaba and AliExpress is where 80% of the world source their goods. The options are endless, and this is how Wish has become to be and is now a rival to Amazon. So to give you a couple of examples, this is my BC Spirits Shopify store. So you can see if you've ever gone on my BC Spirits platform, it's very, very simple, very clean, exactly the same as my website. I do all my shirt design through Printify, and that piggybacks onto Shopify. This is my Shopify store. So I design my shirts in Printify, and then it just piggybacks straight on Shopify. You get the money from Shopify, you pay Printify to print the shirts, and you take the profit in the middle. Distillery Series is a partnership I've done with a couple of distilleries to make them a little bit extra revenue. Every shirt sold from the Distillery Series goes back to the distillery to give them a little bit more revenue during this time of COVID. This is my online bar store, Canadian bar store. This is all drop shipped out of China. And all the same bar tools you can get online on other online stores, all from this place. This is the thing that people don't understand. It's like every bar tool in the world comes from the same place. And so I put together a massive package of different tools at a really good price because it's not about making a ton of money out of this. It's about giving you guys the best tools possible. For musicians, Life is the side hustle to music. Playing in a band or being a soloist is always first, with regular life being second. But as struggling musicians go, smart business can be a side hustle to the passion of music. I've already shown you how to create your band swag store in the previous slides. This could generate real income between paid gigs. Next up is online platforms. Some of you may know, some of you may not. We're jumping ahead of the slides and diving a little bit into the marketing elements of having these online platforms. Most bands already have a SoundCloud account, but this account can be embedded onto your website. Remember, I said that website should be your base for when people arrive and can listen to music automatically. To get a pro account, I think it's about $14 a month. With the lockdowns right now, a lot of bands are doing online streams of performances. While multi-camera, super great quality footage is ideal, it's not always needed. There's nothing stopped you and your band doing a performance on Zoom, streaming live to Facebook, basically like how we're doing right now. And if you really want to get techie, you can go through Restream to stream to multiple Facebook profiles, Twitter, and YouTube. Zoom saves your performances, and then you can use it to edit the music and place on SoundCloud. Never think one piece of content can only be used once. We're going to get into that a lot deeper soon. A live performance audio on SoundCloud, along with saved videos on YouTube and Facebook, can be huge viewership for your music. Anyone who might be looking to sign artists right now are looking for raw talent and not overproduced, polished work. Finally, there's a platform that I don't think really anyone thinks about, and that's Twitch, the gaming streaming service. This is where gamers stream their games while chatting to their viewers. The good gamers get hundreds of thousands of viewers per stream, but a lot of them listen to music while they play. Here's a piece of advice. Get a Twitch account, research players that listen to your style of music, and reach out to them and see if they will play your music while they play. You may be surprised on the ROI on this move. It's all about exposure. This is a channel I didn't talk about too much in the very beginning, but I think a lot of people should utilize it more. Fiverr and Upwork are two platforms that you can push your services and people hire you to do anything creative. It's a great tool for making quick income if you're a talented creative and get a job done in a day or two. I personally use Fiverr for my article writing, YouTube thumbnails, video editing. It's a great resource on both sides of the coin. If you're looking to work or looking for someone to do the work, Fiverr and Upwork are really great tools and platforms. Next up, next avenue. Turning your hobbies into side hustle is the ideal way to lean into your passion and happiness without the resultant income being the driving force. It's the process, the steps you take to get to the end game. That is where your happiness lies. But if you can get to make a little side money, why not? This whole seminar is about side hustle and passive income. As hobbyists who create tangible items in their spare time, I'm talking about wood turners, crochet, dressmakers, furniture makers. The list goes on and on. Anything that you can do with your hands in your spare time can be moved into a passive income model quite easily. We've already chatted about websites and e-commerce, so you have an idea how to apply that hobby that you have in the spare room or the garage into a possible revenue stream. Another one that many people may not have thought about is the art of the flip. If you collect anything, it can be flipped. In recent years, the rise of StockX has given way to the art of flipping limited edition sneakers, hats, clothing, and was recently valued at $1 billion for flipping sneakers. There are groups on Facebook dedicated to buying and trading comic books and trading cards. So turning your collection into a flip is easier than ever before. Now, the final flip is a little bit more difficult now than before, but still doable. Flipping garage sale goods on eBay or Facebook can turn a weekend's garage sailing into some serious profit, especially if you have an eye for vintage toys or antiques. You can legitimize the flip through having a simple but well-built website and embedding your listings there to maximize exposure. Now, gaming we touched on in a previous slide, but is one that if you game at all, not even if you're good, streaming your gaming on Twitch is a smart move. Those streams also piggyback on YouTube and Facebook, maximizing your viewership. Once your viewership rises, I think it's very similar to YouTube rules. You can start monetizing through advertisements, Venmo and PayPal. Yes, people will pay you to watch you play because the stream breeds a team mentality where people want to see you succeed, the same way they root for their favorite sports teams or player and then go buy merchandise. If you're curious just how much Twitch players make, this is the top 5 players' net worth in the world. It's substantial. I also threw up the prize money from one tournament last year. This is the largest pot in history of esports. $30 million from the Dota 2 tournament last year. That was for the winner. Gaming and streaming is huge business. While you may be scratching your head about game streaming or flipping sneakers, there is literally a market for everything and everyone, from the weird and wonderful to the crazy. You may be surprised how many people have the same likes on hobbies that you do, how many people support it. This market is your market to take your passion project into a money-making side hustle. Business. In hospitality, this is usually the side hustles that many hospitality industry people start to research and make moves into. Consulting is obviously the first foray into side hustle that many take. Being asked to create a cocktail menu or do some training, it's a nice feeling to be asked to use your talents for someone else to come and help and expand your own brand. But you have to make this a very slow burn side hustle. It's very important. Consulting is very up and down cycle. Take it slow and small and build as you go. It will take time to grow your business, and being a part of the industry, your reputation, your personal brand is directly plugged into your work. Knowing the market you're in is very important. Having a great idea that is the same as a dozen other people that will not get your foot in the door. You need to be unique and see the deficiencies in the industry to fill the need. Define exactly what you do. It should fit on the back of a cocktail napkin, concise and direct. This gives a strong definition for you and the people that you want to approach. Here are my 5 pointers on how to start your consulting game. Hourly rate, job rate should be approachable. You want to get at least 1 to 3 solid consults with great results under your belt to show your worth. This means going above and beyond or under-promising and over-delivering. When you start out, all you need is experience. I can't define this enough. Experience is necessary. Next up, manuals. I can't stress this enough either. Man, I'm going to stress a lot on these 5 points, I think. Have amazing in-depth manuals. This gives you tangible weight to your voice. As many of us are audible and doers, we like to show people how to do things. We don't need to write it down. Don't be afraid to cold call or reach out to people who you think could use your services. I got Cafe Mexico project because of that. I reached out to them on Facebook, and that turned out to be one of my biggest projects in the last 5 years. Be patient. Focus on your full-time job while always keeping this in the side hustle in the wings. Don't be afraid to ask for advice. You can find mentors in the same industry or people who consult in other industries. Find someone to get pointers from for the next steps can be very helpful. Utilize your network. Is easy in the era of internet. LinkedIn, Facebook pages, face-to-face events like Chamber of Commerce or DMO events are a perfect way to network. Finding clients, mentors, mentees. Don't underestimate hanging out in a hotel lobby bar and passing your card to people. It can be extremely valuable. If you head to a networking meeting, make sure that you have enough business cards. Print them through Vistaprint. It's extremely cheap to hand out to everybody that's there. For every card you receive, make sure that the very next day you sit down with all of them in front of you and email everyone you met and connect with them. Follow them on LinkedIn. Follow their business on Facebook. Show interest in them and their business, and it will be reciprocated. And finally, one we haven't talked about today very much because it's all been very tech forward and online, brick and mortar. Is it still worth having a brick and mortar store? Yes and no. I want to kind of romance it a little bit. Owning a restaurant or a store is an important exposure point, but folding it in all the things we chatted about today into your business model in this day and age is imperative. Want to open your own clothing store in your hometown? Do it. But put as much effort onto your online platforms as your brick and mortar. It's a multi-pronged operations mentality. So this is the last step into the how. We've talked about what you are going to do and how you're going to create it. Now let's lean into how you're going to market it. Social media continues to be a paramount advertising tool for the startup side hustle. The first 3 points are all free. Having a profile is free for your side hustle, naming it and tying it back to your website. Posting and interaction are the most important things of your social media. You should be posting 2 to 4 times a day on all platforms, answering all the comments, and creating a dialogue with your followers. You should also try to connect with others in your field, following and commenting on their content. Boost and paid advertising on social media is extremely cheap for the market response. Boosting a focused post for $5 a day for 3 days can get you to reach 1,500 to 5,000 people, giving great exposure for minimum outlay. Always keep in mind that these platforms are consumer-facing. There is no algorithm working against you. How do you get in front of these people? Look for popular profiles, videos, and posts that have a huge market follow and use that as a demographic interest. For example, all my spirit videos and bar-centric videos, I use Tipsy Bartender as a demo interest. He has millions of followers, and while his style is most likely not your style and definitely not my style, his viewers will still have your content pushed in front of them. Be specific, but also be open to using big-ticket interest demos to your benefit. I've mentioned before that your website is your home base. Everything you create in the following point should be shared from your website in the way of blog posts, free information. The more eyes on your website, the better. I do believe in business, and it's sometimes hard to balance this off. But you need to balance off your sales and your information as much as possible. Where is your value add proposition when it comes to doing a podcast or video or ebook? Does your brand even have enough value to charge for an ebook? It is something that is very specific to each person's business. What works for me may not work for you. It is a personal choice and one that you may have to, when you make it, you lean into it. Websites are an amazing conduit for information transfer. The third point, audiovisual is my favorite marketing tool. I think it opens the market to your eyes to your market, what you do and what you can do for them. It basically feeds the first two platforms with information. A podcast or YouTube channel should be a brand and market specific and be there for business talk and interviews. It goes back to talking about Twitch, game streaming, wood turners, videotaping their latest creation, pushing people to their website to push that piece or something else. I've seen car restorers record and time-lapse a rebuild for their work channel. The key to audio and visual is to document, not create. An authentic story that brings the viewer or listener into what their story and business and converts them into loyal customers. Let's have a look at what I'm talking about. Now, the next slide, try and follow, you'll follow along, I'm sure you will. This is a relatively simple map on how one piece of video content can be turned into multiple pieces of content on multiple platforms. This is definitely leaning to the style of instructional content that a lot of consultants like myself would put out. Let me preface all this by including this whole entire seminar. This is all self-taught for me. Lots of Googling and working out kinks myself. So let's get started. Video to audio. This is quite easy, just by scraping the audio from your video file and editing that down. Upload that audio to Anchor, Podbean, Spreaker, whichever platform fits you best. I love Anchor. That's what I use. Once you upload, that streams out to 9 platforms like Spotify and Apple Podcasts, Google Play. Now take that audio and find someone on Fiverr who can transcribe it and turn it into an article. I have someone I use in Portugal that has really got my tone and cadence down. And once you've got that edited, transcribed articles, you post that onto Medium, which then can be shared on LinkedIn and under your podcast on your website. You can take a static picture of the topic or guest, put it up onto Wave, and you overlay a minute of audio from your podcast as a teaser for an Instagram post with a written copy that sends people to the link in bio to watch or listen. And that piece of audio is on your website. Video to YouTube. Now, to monetize YouTube, you need to have 1,000 subscribers and 4,000 watch hours. So this isn't a side hustle in the beginning, regardless of what people think about you putting up YouTube videos. You can also format your videos to upload on IGTV on Instagram to get more viewers. You post the video on your website, possibly with that transcribed article from Fiverr that we talked about underneath. Google likes to see written word when it comes to videos posted on websites. The blogs then can be shared on your social media sites that take URL, for example, Facebook, Twitter, and LinkedIn. Fiverr, again, is a great tool as well. You can find someone to do eye-catching thumbnails for videos. I have someone in India who does mine for BC Spirits. You can also have someone do compilation videos for all your platforms. I have someone in Bangladesh who does compilation videos in 5-minute chunks for Facebook, YouTube, IGTV, and then does a 1-minute snippet for an Instagram post. As you can see, what I've done now is I've led it back to a podcast because the start from the very beginning. Because with an audio scrape from that compilation, you've now got yourself another podcast episode. This really relies on document instead of create. It can build great following of loyal customers that can translate into sales. And this also shows how one piece of content can be turned into days worth of content on all platforms. This map can be applied to any business, any style, and tweaked to be tailored to you. I have included the nature of Zoom, Restream, and live streaming, but it really piggybacks on that video element of the map. I did mention we'd be going back to patience. We've all been going through the what and how, but a lot of this is going to be held back to the when. You can start your side hustle to gain financial stability whenever you want. Scheduling time for the day around your paying job and your side hustle. Most people have 6 hours a day free, plus 16 hours on their days off to focus on their passion project that could turn into a solid piece of passive income. That is 82 hours a week to do something that you already love doing or working towards the freedom and empowerment element of entrepreneurship. Downtime and unwind time, I know, isn't necessary for good work-life balance. But where does your passion lie? In chasing entrepreneurial goals or binge-watching Netflix? Patience is important to your quest of entrepreneurship. The old adage that I talked about before, an overnight success takes 15 years, is not untrue. In the world of internet fame and everything being as quick as possible, It can be hard to be patient and grind it out. But with patience and passion is like a marathon. Are you classed as a winner in the first 5 miles or when you get over the finish line? Never be afraid to go back to zero and revisit your original plan and goals. It's never a bad thing to go back to why you started all this in the first place. We can get caught up in everyday life, your full-time job, relationships. There's never anything wrong with taking a break, reevaluating, re-energizing, and going from a different angle. Humility is an important trait for entrepreneurs. But the win is now. Don't overthink it. If you have a passion and you can think it through and create a plan, go for it. Jump in feet first. The Wright brothers planned, but at the end of the day, it's the tenacity that made them take off. Now let's revisit the path to entrepreneurship. We've covered the why, the what, the how, the when. Chasing happiness is the primary goal. Obviously, extra money in the bank is the end result, but shouldn't be the main driver in the process of entrepreneurship. So let's dive into money, the success. These are the nuts and bolts of business. Without money, you can't exist, but passion gets you a long way, especially when you have a full-time job that after 24 months of a side hustle may have become your side hustle. The first 6 months is focused on covering your initial setup costs and opening operating costs. All the money you make goes back into the business. Focus on the documentation of your journey on social media for your followers. They want to be in this journey with you. I've spoken to so many restaurant owners about authentic, raw stories over polished and prim and proper posts. I shouldn't have put 4 Ps in that sentence, but I did. People can get overproduced pics. There's another 4 Ps in another sentence. They want you. That's what they want to relate to. If you are in any business, you need to make sure you get paid for your goods and services from the get-go. Be transparent with your clients and your customers about the terms of your business. This is even heavily more for consultants. When we really deal in tangible businesses, services, and time, it can get tricky. So be transparent and honest from the get. The 6 to 18 month mark, reinvest in upgrading your website, Shopify store, lean into hiring people to fix your SEO and your pay-per-click elements to gain your better business exposure. You can do all this on Fiverr as well. Funnel money into your social media marketing. You've been working for 6 to 12 months on building a strong brand. Now capitalize on it. Explore how to sell your goods on services on other websites. Does your product fit with Amazon, Etsy, specific other websites that you may be able to affiliate yourself with? Make sure your business is in good stand. Teach yourself accounting or hire a bookkeeper to help you get everything in check. If you're really moving with the business as your side hustle, chat to your accountant about the next steps: incorporation, sole proprietorship, taxes, claims. This sets you up for success in many ways that never crosses our people's minds, especially creative people. We just think of the end goal of being creative and awesome. Always ask people who may know more about advice. My wife is an accountant, and she gives me unsolicited advice about my business all the time. 18 to 24 months. Research into expansion. Have you got a popular clothing brand? Do you open a brick and mortar? Do you partner on your consulting business? Diversification in the grand and macro of business is a key to survival. Partnering with someone in your consulting business that may have a different set of skills to build your business, like I do, or do what I do and see deficiencies in the industry and then find ways to fill them. Now, this one is a big one. Limited personal draw. I haven't talked about taking money out of your business for personal spending the whole way. You can still have a full-time job still. If you do, keep building your business. Maybe take a little vacation, buy yourself something nice. But being frugal and budgeting is a great way to get your goal of entrepreneurship sooner. After this point, it's completely up to you. I wish you all the luck in the world, but if you take anything from this, always be humble enough to ask for advice and help when going through your journey. Thank you very much, guys.
Thank you so much, Shawn. That was great. We're going to open up the floor to question and answer. If you have any questions for Shawn, there's a Q&A section down at the bottom you can click on, or you can write it in the chat window, and we'll give a minute or two for anybody, or you can message me on Facebook as well if you have any questions, or within the live chat window. I've got them all open in front of me.
Anything from this, always be humble enough to ask for advice, any questions, or within the live.
All right. I think like last week, Shawn, you pretty much answered everybody's questions so far. So I'm going to take this one. Oh, there is a Q&A. Oh, Amazing slides, says Sybil.
So, guys, my email address is right there. My phone number is right there. Honestly, I am a open, transparent book. You can text me, email me, follow me on my Instagram, slide in my DMs, the whole shebang. I am completely an open book. So if you drop me an email asking any questions, I can get them all answered for you. And I believe that is there a source website you use to keep up to date with new technology from Ava? This one's an interesting one because I think that I'm plugged in enough on social media. I think I'm plugged in enough on social media that you sort of always see new things coming. Like, to be honest, I've looked at TikTok and I've heard a lot about business TikTok and I've researched enough about TikTok and I've kind of tried to find my place there because most apps age. So Facebook was for college kids and then now it's for your grandparents. Twitter was always for your grandparents, but now it's sort of coming back. Last week we talked about LinkedIn for professional. I think you just got to always be plugged in and ask your 15-year-old niece or nephew what they're doing right now. And I think that's sort of, although it'll take 2 years to age up to our age, it's sort of a testament to where it sort of goes. Vine basically turned into Instagram stories, turned into TikTok. So I think there's always being plugged into social media and sort of being aware. I listen to a lot of podcasts, entrepreneurship podcasts like Gary Vee and that sort of thing. So you always sort of hear what's coming up that's new. But TikTok, I still haven't wrapped my head around it just for my method of what I do. Although I do see it in the next 6 to 12 months being something that I'll probably fold into my sort of scope of things.
I think I'm going to wrap it up. So thank you again so much, Shawn. That was a really motivating seminar. And thank you to the participants as well.
Thanks for listening, Pose Shifters. Well, I hope you enjoyed that episode. I really enjoy sitting down with friends and peers and just chatting about the industry and getting down to the nuts and bolts of what's really going on out there. Make sure you like, subscribe, comment, everything on all the platforms. Just hit it up and I'll do my best to answer any queries or questions you have. I'll see you next week, guys. Bye.